This is NHTV2, Northhaven Government Television, a service of Northhaven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the town of Northhaven.
Good evening and welcome to the August 23rd, 2022 meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners for the town of Northhaven. My name is Larry Lazarov, I'm the chairman. To my left is Robin Wilson, the vice chairman. To my right is Mark Calafiore, our secretary, Commissioner Alden Mead, and Commissioner Bob Hannon. Can I ask for approval of the minutes of the July 20th, 2022 special meeting, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I ask for the approval of the minutes of the July 26th, 2022 minutes, regular and executive sessions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, do we have any correspondences?
Mr. Chairman, we have three pieces of correspondence. The first one is from a good friend of ours, a good friend of the police department, Sergio. And he wants to thank the chief, and he wants to thank Peggy for, and the whole police department for the goodie bag he received. And I guess he's a big fan of the K-9 unit, and he loves Cyrus. He says, Shepherds rule. Thanks again, Sergio. I tend to agree that shepherds do rule, but I like little Yorkies like I have. But they wouldn't make good police. They wouldn't make good police dogs. But thank you for the kind words, Sergio. Very good man. And this is from Charles W. Sherwood, the director of the Criminal Justice Administration in New Haven. And he wants to thank Chief Glenn for allowing Captain Chris Thorpe to serve as a panelist at a recently held board examination for the position of lieutenant. So thank you, Chief, and thank you, Chris Thorpe. And this is from a Miss Heather Barletta. She's the president of a company on 422nd Point Road. She would like to thank and acknowledge Officers Rich DePalma, Officer Butler, and Sergeant D. Pasquale. They should be commended for their exemplary conduct and professionalism. The officers recently responded to a scene in which I was personally involved. I felt they provided a level of service that our community should be thankful for. So again, she's grateful for the actions of Richie DePalma, Officer Butler, and Sergeant D. Pasquale. So thank you, Heather. And that is it.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, for Chairman's report, not too much. I just want to repeat that we had a beautiful swearing-in ceremony last month of our Deputy Chief, Stavridis, and our captain, our lieutenant, and our sergeant, and it was very well attended. We did have a swearing-in of our new recruit who started the academy on Monday, and the chief will fill us in with that. We'll be conducting some further interviews this evening, an executive session. As a reminder, we are going back to school very shortly, so please pay more attention, as you always should anyway, to when you're driving, to school children walking, bicycles, and of course your usual joggers and people exercising. And the usual monthly reminder to please lock your cars, your homes, your sheds, etc., etc. We're making progress because we're being more diligent, and if we keep it up, this is what we have to do to stay top of things. So a lot depends upon us as individuals, as well as the police department. That being said, I will turn the meeting now over to the chief.
Thank you. I'll start with a public service announcement. As you said, school starts next Wednesday, the 31st. On our side of things, the police department will have crossing guards in place to help our younger students cross where it's appropriate near all the elementary schools. Speed enforcement in school zones during drop-off and pickup times. Not only looking for speeders, but trying to be a deterrent for drivers who are driving too fast, using their cell phones, or driving recklessly. So we'll be out there. As the chairman said, we hope that everyone all the time drives properly, especially when school is getting back, as people aren't used to the school buses out there and the walkers, so it's important. In addition to that, we'll have our school resource officers in every school. This is a program we're really proud about. It's really the model for the state. Most towns, municipalities do not have SROs. If not, we are the only one in the state who has SROs in every single school. We fielded dozens of phone calls and emails, how we pulled that off, so we're really proud about that. And just last week, myself, the fire chief, met with the superintendent, had a meeting with all his administrators, throughout every school to talk about school security. So the upgrades that they're doing between software as well as hardening the schools in collaboration with our communication equipment that we have in the schools that ties directly to our 911 system and our SROs in every school, we feel we're in a very good place. Nothing's 100% when it comes to safety, but we're very happy with where we are. In terms of the recent promotions, not just last month, but the promotions over the last year, drove a lot of new assignments. And, I'd like to congratulate Andrew Stavridis to be assigned and promoted to the newest Deputy Chief of Police. I'd like to thank and congratulate the Board of Police Commissioners for making that appointment. I think we've all agreed that that is the best choice, and Andrew's going to do a great job. And he's going to be a great partner in overseeing the commanders of all of our divisions, and he's ready for the job and has already done an outstanding job just in the last couple of weeks. I'd like to congratulate the two new captains, Captain Wozniak, who is now overseeing our Uniform Services Division. It's the largest division in the police department. All of the patrol officers, sergeants, lieutenants, our animal control officers, our dispatch personnel, and our school resource officers. So it's a big lift. It's a new position for him, but he has the deputy chief to lean on, and they're going to work in collaboration and as a team to really get that done. And I have full faith that he'll do a great job. Captain Thorpe will remain in professional standards. This is a job he's done for the past 2 years. He oversees our records division, our property and evidence, as well as our CALIA accreditation and our training. It's a big lift. He's done a good job over the last 2 years, so he's going to stay there for some stability. And congratulations to 2 lieutenants, Lieutenant Spose and Hill. Lieutenant Spose is tonight and moving forward our evening shift lieutenant. He's the commander of our evening shift. He oversees 2 sergeants and a patrol staff between 4 and midnight. And Lieutenant Hill now oversees our investigative services division. He's had some experience there as an investigator, as a supervisor, and he's going to seamlessly roll into that position, again, with the help of the new deputy chief. As you said, we have 2 new sergeants this year, Sergeant DeCoco and Sergeant Costanzo, both are first-line supervisors in our Uniform Services Division, and we expect a lot from both of them. In terms of new personnel, we have 2 recruits in the Milford Police Academy. They're in week 18. Kind of goes by fast when you're not in the police academy, probably not for them, but they're in week 18 out of roughly 24 weeks. We have 2 recruits in the Post Police Academy. They're in week 12, right around halfway done with their police academy. We have 1 that started yesterday in the Hartford Police Academy, who was sworn in last week. We'll talk more about that. And 1 who is starting tomorrow in the Waterbury Police Academy. So 6 different recruits starting tomorrow who will be in the police academy. That's more than we've had in as far back as I can remember, probably at least 2 decades. We have 2 scheduled to start the Post Police Academy September 23rd, and I will be looking for the Board of Police Commissioners to post a special meeting for the swearing in of those individuals. They have a couple more hurdles to get past, but I'm confident that will be seamless, and we'll be able to start them in the police academy at the end of next month, and hopefully swear them in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And this evening, in executive session, we'll be interviewing 4 individuals. That's for the final budgeted position, which will bring us to 9 new hires this year. Again, more than I could ever remember. So between the promotions and the onboarding of new personnel, this is a big year for Northhaven Police Department, an exciting time to be a part of our department and a part of our community. We're really happy about that. Moving on to the budget, as I reported last month, but which is now final and official. We closed last fiscal year at 99.3% expended. I reviewed the Board of Finance meeting a few days ago, and they noted that 12 or 13 departments, as they noted, were over budget, so we're very happy. This has been a consistent trend for at least the last 5-6 years, if not more than that, coming in under budget. So we're really happy about that. Certainly a major priority for myself every year and the deputy chief, as well as the entire command staff. So we're happy we came in under budget. We're able to contribute and help out those departments who came in slightly over budget with transfers. Currently, we're at 13.5% expended, 2 months into the new fiscal year. So overall, we're in very good shape. As we typically are, the way we track our budget, we're under our self-imposed limits. Our overtime is tracking slightly high at 14.8% at this point. So nothing to worry about, something we'll keep an eye on, but with July and August vacations, a couple injuries, driving some overtime up, we're still in good shape. It's something that we'll concentrate on in terms of the overtime. Our traffic report, last month we spoke about Todd Drive South. You all approved no outlet signs at the intersection of Todd Drive South and Hartford Turnpike. Those signs have been installed, so we're all set with that. Again, we're hoping to open Valley Service Road between the 22 connector and Amazon soon. That's projected to relieve about 20% of the traffic from Amazon to Washington Avenue. We're just waiting for the final approval from the DOT. Once we get that sign off, we'll do not we, but the town will do a ribbon cutting ceremony, open that road, and most of the signage that was approved last month has been installed. The only signage that has not been installed yet is just on back order, but we'll get that up and running and installed before we open that up. I have a new request for traffic. This is 221 Elm Street. This is the high school. 2.5 years ago, I approved temporary no parking signs northbound on Elm Street, the entire length of the high school property. With COVID occurring and school opening back up, there were more drop-off and pickups than typical, so the traffic was backing up onto Elm Street. It was a serious concern. Buses couldn't turn in. Those temporary signs relieved that issue. We did a reevaluation, and our traffic division, Sergeant DePascal, is now recommending that we consider, or you consider, permanent signage, and that's no parking, and looking for a motion if you feel necessary.
So that's from Quail Run basically to
Just after
the
Quail
exit?
Run, so
To
the entire
Bailey?
high school property.
To
So
Bailey, or all the way to Bailey, or no?
No,
Just to the high
just-
school driveway?
Just past the north
Gotcha,
driveway.
okay.
On the,
Just on the northbound.
The north
side,
side,
on the school
northbound.
side.
on the street, not the.
Right.
Correct. Yeah. So we'd be looking for a motion to remove the temporary no parking signs, install permanent no parking signs with signage that also says will be enforced between the start of school and the end of school.
Okay, so.
Sounds good to
it's-
me.
It sounds like a no-brainer, obviously. I mean, it's obviously alleviated some of the problem you've had in the past, so why not make it a permanent issue? I mean, they're still being able to have transportation, people getting dropped off there in a probably more orderly and more a safer manner, obviously. So, I mean, I'll entertain a motion to make these signs permanent.
I'll make the motion.
Go ahead.
Make the motion that we make the signage permanent
Okay.
on aforementioned street in
Okay.
front of the school,
Do we
high
have a second?
school.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Next traffic request, Sergeant DePascal was contacted by a resident in the northwest section of town regarding the intersection of Hartford Turnpike and Tolley's Road. This is an intersection close to the Wallingford Town line of Hartford Turnpike. Currently it's a T intersection. Hartford Turnpike runs north to south. Tolley's Road runs from Route 5 to Hartford Turnpike. It's a T intersection with only a stop sign on Tolley's Road.
Mhm.
Sergeant DePascal did his typical analysis. He noted since 2008, there were 55 motor vehicle accidents at the intersection. 7 were noted with injuries. We did a traffic study with our electronic speed signs, and roughly southbound of Hartford Turnpike, 4,900 to 5,000 cars travel that road every day. 2,700 cars travel north on Hartford Turnpike, and 2,900 cars travel west on Tolley's Road. So it's a very busy intersection. If you are familiar with the area, as you come up Tolley's Road, it's a bend, so to look left or southbound, it's very difficult to see oncoming traffic, and that's the cause of most of the accidents.
Is this by the Redwood Flea Market? That's where.
Yes,
it's
Okay,
before
you
okay,
get to the
okay.
Redwood.
It's on the average.
Right, okay.
That's every 3 months there's an accident.
So what are we looking to do there?
So we're looking for a motion for signage for our stop sign?
Nope, so the recommendation is for an engineering study to be done,
Oh.
consultation with the traffic manual for traffic control signals, because of the volume of cars, traffic accidents, and speeds that we noted there. They recommend doing a traffic study from a professional engineer, so they could determine whether a traffic control signal is needed there, or just multiple signs, make it a 3-way stop, a 2-way stop, or traffic control.
So that intersection, Tully's is our road, isn't Hartford Turnpike a state road?
It's not, so the entire intersection.
Is Northhaven? Okay. Man, that's a no-brainer also. That's a terrible intersection, trying to take a left or a right. It's awful, so. That's
Right.
actually very encouraging news.
So
So we're not looking for a commitment
Right.
to spend any money other than the engineering survey at this time.
Do we need a motion for that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
How do you find a particular engineer expert that you go through our town engineer, or do you yourselves know traffic people?
We do not, we rely on the Department of Transportation
That's
to
what
give us the
Yeah, I
proper
figured,
person.
I was curious, yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying that's a lot, that's every 3 months, there's an accident.
No, that would be a great,
And twice a year, an injury, or once
yeah,
or twice.
great addition to have traffic light there, but I'm
Yeah.
no engineer, so you need to study.
Yeah.
So, do we need a motion
Did you say
then?
there is a cost to the town for this?
There's a cost, it fall within our budget.
So I would make a motion that we
Authorize a
adopt
study.
what you just, an engineering study, traffic
Yeah.
study, an engineered traffic study,
Yeah,
Second,
whatever the
Robert,
verbiage
motion.
is.
sure, okay. All in favor of that one?
Aye,
Aye.
that's a good one.
Thank you. And just an update on our vehicles. Our Chevy Tahoe from last fiscal year has been delivered. That's in service at this point. That's a supervisor vehicle loaded with command post type equipment. We're very happy with that at this point. We received both of our Ford SUVs that were approved last fiscal year. That took almost a year to take delivery of those. Those are being outfitted at this point. We recently outfitted a road job vehicle that's used strictly for road jobs at this point. It's an older vehicle with a lot of mileage on it. We outfitted that with a canine cage in the back, and the purpose for that is when one of two of our canine vehicles are down for maintenance or repairs, or God forbid an accident, they now have a backup car to put the canine in safely and go back into service. So that was a nice upgrade. We were able to pull off the funding from last year. We recently received confirmation for 3 new Chevy SUVs, Chevy Tahoes, for this current fiscal year. And it looks like, which is good news, that we may receive those delivered to us by November or December this year. So that's good news for our fleet to expand that as we're onboarding newer personnel. It's important to grow our fleet responsibly, but also grow it in the long run. Still in the traffic, we have been continuing our regional traffic enforcement. That's ongoing. And this is traffic enforcement from officers from 6 different towns that rotate to different towns that they conduct the enforcement in. Today they were in North Branford. 2 times last month they were in Northhaven. Gives us an opportunity to cost effectively have a large presence from time to time for speed enforcement, unregistered vehicles, cell phone violations, and show a presence of police personnel pulling cars over, educating the population of what they should and shouldn't be doing. So we're really happy with that so far.
And hence your numbers have gone up also for vehicles
They
having
have,
issues,
we'll touch on
yeah.
that in just a few minutes, but that's a part of that,
Mhm.
that regional effort.
Mhm.
Cost effective, but also driving the numbers
And
up.
very productive, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing for us. The 2 motor vehicle accidents that were fatals in the last month, August 19th, about 1 o'clock in the morning, we had a fatal motor vehicle accident on Middletown Avenue. On July 29th, in the early evening hours, we had a fatal motor vehicle accident on Washington Avenue. Both of those investigations are being conducted by our regional accident reconstruction team, which is made up of investigators from those same 6 towns. So it's that regional effort between SWAT, our crash team, this enforcement team that's really benefiting all 6 towns. We're happy with it. So do you have any questions as far as the traffic report before we move on?
No.
Moving on to training, we have our 2 new supernumerary SROs received school resource officer basic training recently. So all 7 of our SROs are all set as far as training, certification, starting the new school year. The number of new officers that we're onboarding this year, we wanted to expand our field training officer staff. These are officers who are in-house, Northhaven police officers who have a special certification, who train officers once they graduate from the academy. They're teamed up, they spend roughly 3 months together, and they onboard them with how we do things in Northhaven, the philosophy, the culture, the paperwork, and the layout of the town. So we trained 3 new officers, and our total staff for FTOs, or field training officers, is now 8 certified officers. So we're happy with that, we're in good shape, as we're gonna have a number of officers in the next 6 to 9 months graduate the police academy. Just touch a little bit about recent crime. In July, we had 7 stolen vehicles. We have 7 stolen vehicles, all recovered, and already in August, so far, we've had 8 stolen vehicles again, so those are all trending high. In July, of this year. We had a robbery on State Street. Suspect used a firearm to rob a gas station. Investigators in our bureau have done a nice job, identified a suspect. They executed a search warrant. They recovered not only the gun, the clothing the suspect wore that night, but also other evidence. So we have an arrest warrant pending for that case, which is nice to see, especially this quick after the robbery. And this investigation also allowed other agencies to solve some other robberies where the same suspect committed the crimes, but they didn't have the identification. So we always like to see that. Detectives over the last few months have been investigating a sexual assault that occurred at a group home. The victim is a juvenile. It's a very sensitive and difficult investigations to conduct. Fortunately, detectives were able to identify the suspect, but also work through the investigation, obtain an arrest warrant, and that individual was arrested in July of this year for sexual assault. And just in general, calls for service, as you can all note in your packets, calls for service, written reports, and accident reports continue to track much higher than in the recent years and really over the last 2 decades as you look back at the statistics. And our traffic stops are just beginning, as the chairman noted, to climb back up to where we'd like them to be. That's important for us for traffic safety. As you can imagine, as calls for service increase, crashes increase, written reports increase, each officer has less time to conduct proactive motor vehicle activity. So between the regional effort and efforts of our officers locally, we're able to raise those numbers, so we're happy about that. I have one request, looking for a motion, if you see fit, for a Benary Scholarship, and that's for Officer Alex Sinanis for 1 class.
We obviously have the funds for this.
We do.
Okay. Have a motion?
Motion to approve the 1 class.
Okay. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Granted.
Thank you. I would like to have a motion, if you see fit, to request for retired Chief Thomas McLaughlin, who's a supernumerary officer at this point, assigned to one of our schools. He's in good standing, and all his training is applicable. And by policy, we need a motion and approval to extend him for another 2 years as a supernumerary.
That's a tough one. You made the motion?
I made the motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
for a second? I'll second that. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Congratulations, Chief.
And just to touch on some events coming up, we've been making efforts over the years to try to have more community outreach and events and more participation with the public, all different aspects of our public. So at the Northhaven Fair, which is September 8th through the 11th, our union is going to have a dunk tank there. You can dunk a police officer to raise some funds for the union, but we're also going to have a recruitment table there to interact with everyone at the fair and try and promote the culture and philosophy of our agency. So look out for that. We are going to participate in a community resource fair. This is September 10th from 10 to noon. That's hosted by Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, who invited us to participate and interact with the public there. That's going to be at the rec center on Lindsley Street, right across the police department. That's September 10th from 10 to noon. And our officers started this. I'd like to give credit to Officer Steve Sudak, who came up with the idea, but other officers are helping out. They've been giving tours of our agency and really turning that into a meet and greet a week and a half ago. It was a big hit, well attended. We had almost 20 children under 12 with their families there. They got to see not only the building, the cars, and meet police officers. Our next one is this Friday. So we think that's a great outreach, not only for the kids, but the families. And
How long does the tour last? So like half hour?
anywhere from 10 to 2 hours. Yeah, I really think the tour is about a half hour long. Obviously, depending on the conversation,
Right.
you know, how many questions, how talkative everyone
That's
is.
terrific.
Yeah, we're not going to cut them off, but
Right.
I would say that's about right. And anyone watching from home, if you are interested in that, we have a special email set up. It's tours@northavenpd.com, tours, TOURS, at northavenpd.com. And our staff will get back to you as far as times when to be here and if it's still on that night or future dates. Aside from that, I only have some personnel issues for executive session.
Excellent, excellent.
How did our SWAT team do?
They did great. There's a snafu with some of the scoring, so we anticipate being in the top 10 out of more than a few.
You might want to say what that was. The SWAT
Once
challenge.
it's official, I think we'll have a special announcement. I don't think we're ready to get into details on that, but thank you for bringing that up. Our SWAT team, I will touch on that, thank you. Our SWAT team, which is a South Central Regional SWAT team, has competed for over a dozen years in the Connecticut SWAT Challenge. This year, there was one competition team out of the South Central Regional SWAT team that competed. They did very well. Like I said, there was a little bit of an issue with scoring. I know they did very well, but the score's not official. But when they become official, we'll certainly get that on social media and talk about that next month at our commission meeting.
Excellent, good job. Any other questions? Okay. That being said, we make a motion to go into executive session for discussion of personnel matters.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, welcome back. We are back now in open session after having completed an executive session of interviews. I'd like to ask Commissioner Hannon to make a motion to offer conditional offers for employment,
Thank you,
please.
Mr. Chairman. I'd like to offer the Taraya Hamilton as our first choice for the position. And also would like to, with the backup of Stella Khan as the second choice. Barring no problems, all right.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any further business? That being said, motion for adjournment,
So moved.
So
Second?
second?
Second.
We are adjourned.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of Northhaven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.